This video is to help with A-level business studies to show the exam technique that's best for you to use to gain the highest marks. It's mainly looking at analysis type questions and evaluation type questions. In the business studies exams, there's 4 skills that you need to show. The first one being content. Now this is mainly about demonstrating your knowledge of the business specification, making sure that you've got accurate definitions. Application is another skill, and this is about applying the knowledge that you've got, your content knowledge, to the case study that's supplied to you. These are the lower level skills. To get the highest marks and to make sure that you're getting A grades, you need to be good at analysis and evaluation. Now, analysis is about building up an argument, showing the cause and effects and the impact that the content point has that you've just raised. You will be looking at advantages and disadvantages of different topic areas that you've studied in business studies. The last skill, and this is really important, especially if you're doing the second year exams, is that of evaluation. Now, evaluation is evaluating the evidence. That's about reaching a judgment and drawing some kind of conclusions. In the exam board will use command words to help you identify the type of skills that they're looking for within the questions. You can try to make a decision whether you've got to show all of the skills or some of the skills based on the marks. So for example, if you've got a 8-mark question, it's likely not to require evaluation compared to an 18-mark question. You know you've got to show content, application, analysis and evaluation. Now the command words are there to help you. Where we're going to be looking at analysis type questions, when I talk about analysis type questions, I mean questions that need to show your content knowledge, your application and your analysis. There will be certain command words that are at the beginning of those questions. Typically those will be explain, examine, or if it says analyse, that's a bit of a giveaway, obviously, because it's an analysis type question. If you have to show all of the skills, the content, application, analysis and evaluation, you're likely to find the command words discuss, to what extent, justify, and if the exam board are being nice to you, the word evaluate. This is the writing frame for analysis type questions. Now, with all of the questions, I would suggest that you start with a definition. There are some people that would say that don't bother with a definition because it's a waste of time, but it's worth having a definition as a safety net. If you have one content point that's correct, but your second paragraph and your content is incorrect, then you might only pick 1 mark up. Whereas if you've got a definition and a content point, that means that you're going to get full marks for content. Once you've done your definition, you need to have 2 paragraphs. Typically, an analysis type question might say what are the benefits or what are the problems of a particular business issue. Now, rather than having 3, 4, 5, 6 different ideas, just select 2 ideas. So your first paragraph is your first idea. So if you were looking at the benefits of a particular business situation, one benefit of such and such is that is your content point. Once you've made your content point, you then need to apply it to the case study. Once you've made that link between the content point and application, you then need to analyse. Now, what I suggest that you do to make sure you're getting full marks for analysis is having a 3-chain analysis. So you've got analysis point 1, then you look at the point that you've made at number 1, what impact does that have on the business, and that would be your point 2, and then look at point 2 and think about the impact that that has on the business. Now, to make sure that you're getting maximum marks, if you've just done your first application point that we can see here in red, I'm also advising that you try to get some application from the case study in your analysis chains to make sure that you are having good application and good analysis to make sure you're getting high marks. You then bring in your second paragraph, and that's your second point, and you follow exactly the same structure. Now, for this type of question, there is no evaluation whatsoever, so don't make a conclusion. If you do, that means that you're just wasting your own time. This then is the evaluation writing frame. Now you will see that the structure is exactly the same, apart from now you need to bring in some evaluation points. So you go through with your content, application, your analysis chains, and then bring in an evaluative point. Now, the evaluative point should be something that is contradicting the argument that you've made before. So, for example, if you've done a debate before and you were in a debate, you would have one debating team that is given the argument, the other debating team is arguing that against that particular argument. So your evaluative point would be the second debating team arguing the first debating team's point down, and that would be your evaluative point. Then go through the process and do that again for your second paragraph. And now with an evaluation type of question, it's important that you do a conclusion. With your conclusion, this is the suggested structure. The first thing that you need to do is make a decision. As soon as you've made a decision, you've evaluated something within your question, and you should be getting a mark for evaluation. However, to get the higher marks, you then need to justify that. Now, if we stay on the idea of a debating team, the judge is going to be the person that's going to be making those decisions. Now, it's no good that judge coming and saying, this is my decision, without giving some reasons. You need to give the reasons that you've made that decision. Now, if the judge came up and said that this is my decision, but didn't talk about anything about the case that they've heard, you'd think that was a little bit strange. So the first thing you want to do is summarise what you've heard within your answer, so what you've heard from the case that has allowed you to make that decision. Now, it's no good copying out exactly what you said before, because that's wasting time. So just summarise that particular point that you made, but maybe in just 1 or 2 lines. To show that you're a really wise judge and that your answer is going to be much stronger, you might add an additional point into your justification, but make sure that that links to the summary that you've already made. Now, that might pick you up maybe 2-3 marks within your evaluation, but to get full marks, you do need to take it further. Now, this is where you have however it depends on. Now, this is really saying I've made this decision, this is the reason why, but my decision might not necessarily be that if there were certain factors that occurred. Now, what you will try to do is try to think of a couple of factors. Try to think of something that's internal within the inside of the business and something that's external. So the idea with internal, you might think about something about the product or something about the company. With external, think about something about the market that business is in or something about the environment. Now, you can see there where it says however it depends on, and then it's got PCME. Good way to remember about product, company, market, environment could be remembering PICME, and therefore if you think about that in exams, you might be able to come up with some factors that your decision depends on.